Good evening and welcome to another MTD podcast, On the Road with MTDCNC. This is the podcast broadcast every Friday evening at 6 o'clock, where we cover what we've been up to in the last few days and what we're going to be doing next week. Today, once again, as last week, I'm joined by Chloe Reeve and Colin Griffiths. Good afternoon or good evening, guys.
Hello, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Have you had a good week, Chloe?
Yeah, brilliant week. It's been lovely.
It's been a short one, isn't it, this week?
Yeah, it was quite weird having bank holiday Monday, wasn't it? Put me out of sync.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it?
What
Colin, what about you?
What were you doing in the sink? We're here all day. I've just been busy speaking to people, sorting out network and MTD and clients and videos, and we're working on a big project for MSC.
Okay, we'll keep your powder dry because I'm sure we'll talk about that later in the show. Now, as always with this show, we're going to talk about the technologies that we've seen in the last few days, companies that we've visited, any trends that are happening, any interesting facts that we've picked up whilst we've been out and about. We've got the usual shout-outs coming up to companies and people that have asked to be acknowledged on the show, so we'll be doing that too. Also, a little bit of news. Good to see that the Bank of England's decision to uphold its growth forecast from this year from 5% to 7.25% is not exactly a surprise. The economy's on a bit of a boom at the moment, isn't it? It's not. In fact, it's called a rebound, and it's not a boom. So I've read,
It's
called a rebound. But it's really good news because we've seen it actually borne out in the manufacturing sector.
When you say rebound, it's off. I mean, I hate to be pedantic about this, but it's off a low base because it's come down quite a lot.
Rebound,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
but
hence it being called rebound. Yeah, right, I'll get it.
But it's still really good positive news. And when you talk about manufacturing, if you follow our Great British Manufacturing podcast, which comes out every Thursday, which is from MTD MFG, the production managers index soared to 60.9 last month, which is the fastest, and it's also seen the fastest rate in almost 27 years of growth in manufacturing.
Well, more important indicator is the MTD EEI, Engineering Economic Indicator. For March,
did that show us a similar
It has been positive since November. So if normal business 50, I think it's 54.6 in March. April's figure is out, but I'm not going to disclose what it is. But let's just say nothing. I'll keep you on your toes about that one.
But it is really good news, isn't it? It's really good news. It almost feels like we're sort of, I don't know, I think people were beginning to think that we were never going to come to the end of this thing, but the roads are much busier.
Oh, yeah.
Companies' doors are open.
I got stuck on the M1 the other day. Yeah. It was a nightmare, but it just felt normal. And I was even talking with my boyfriend, and we were going out for meals and stuff. And I couldn't. Feels like we've been locked up for so long that even just going out for a normal meal, even though you sat outside freezing under a blanket, it's getting back to normal. And obviously, masks are still mandatory, and I'd rather wear a mask to protect myself and protect others. But just seeing the world going back to normal is amazing.
Yeah, it is, and we're only a few days away from the 17th of May when we'll be able to actually go into restaurants, and also we're hearing today about the holiday destinations that we're going to be able to go to. So, Colin, where's your favourite place? Where would you go?
My favourite place? Where would I go? I did go. Well, my ex-girlfriend now, I'm still a bit emotional about that, so don't cover it, but she made a slight boo. We went to Portugal in October when it was still a red country. No one stopped us, and we had a great time. I've never been there before.
Well, I've heard that might be one of the ones on the green or the amber.
The traffic light system. Sorry. I don't know what.
Are you getting emotional? You're getting emotional.
Yeah, I am.
Well, it's really good news.
It's lovely.
With 35 million people having had their first jabs, we really are
fantastic.
Bucking the trend here in the UK. So let's crack on. We did have the bank holiday this week, so we've probably got a little bit less to talk about than.
I want to stop you there if I may. I just want to pick you up on something I think you said last week, Paul, and people are going to have to double check on last week's podcast. But the Matsuura at Apsley Engineering is a MAM 7235V.
Okay.
What size is the working envelope?
I couldn't tell you.
350 diameter by 314. But how many pallets does it hold?
35.
No.
Is it 32?
It's 32 or 40.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I just wanted to correct you on that.
Yeah.
And what was the spindle up time? 5 days they ran it?
96%.
Oh, 95%. And we had a great comment actually from Ian Mitchell about that. Absolutely brilliant. So anyway, I don't want to...
Commonplace. In fact, we've got a couple of bits to cover about Matsuura during this show.
We've been seeing them quite a lot recently.
So let's start with, this is a really interesting one, Renishaw this week. I know, Mark, Chloe, you were there as well, and so was Lindsay. tell us a little bit about what you saw there, Chloe, because I know we're gonna be talking about the equator system, which, having seen it in manufacturing companies, it really is a great portable piece of kit, isn't it?
Yeah, they're in Gloucester, lovely place of the world. There's about 3 sites actually, and their facility is just out of this world. The technology they've got in there, the equator systems, the probing systems, robots, everything was just outstanding. And to see that they're still progressing, still getting into companies and stuff like that, especially as we said, we're opening up again, they're getting more connectivity with their customers. But yet we're going to be talking about the equator. I've actually used one of these when I was back at ETG, and it's a fantastic bit of kit. It's basically a CMM that isn't a CMM. You can just take your part off the machine, put it on, and it can probe your part.
If you say it's not a CMM, what's the difference then? Because to me,
it is a CMM. It is a CMM, but it's not on a huge table.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say. It looks a bit like a spider, okay? When it probes all the ins and outs.
It's sort of like on a frame, because normally with CMM, we just call it gantry or bridge.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like you say, it's like a spider, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got 2 variants. So they've got the 300 and the 500, which obviously when we do the video, we'll talk into more depth. But we spoke to them about it, and they can't wait to get this video out and running.
But the beauty of the equator is you do like a master part. So you put a part in there, you measure it,
which is auto tolerance and things like that, and then that's the master part. Yeah. And say if you do, it's for more like batches of parts. But I actually found out, even though I used one back in the day, you can put them on the side of your machine now and have robots loading them. So it doesn't even need to be handheld loading. And also, you don't have to just have one part. If your part's got 3 ops, you can put op 1, op 2, op 3, and it can probe that one, probe this one, probe that one. And it's just saves time, saves money, and it's a great investment for a company.
A couple of other things on that as well, though, because it's on the shop floor, so you don't have to have your air-conditioned rooms and things like that. So it adjusts for that thermal growth.
Yeah.
And it will stop bottlenecks, because
yes, 100%.
That's where you're machining all these parts and you're all automated and doing thousands
of
times.
Well, that's what they were saying about a CMM. Obviously, you can have your CMM room, that's fine, but having an equator on there, like you said, will stop those bottlenecks, and it will just keep that in-house right next to it. And also, what you can do is you can take your fixture and put it on there as well. So if you do need to put it back on the machine, it will keep that zero point work shift.
The good thing about it, I understand, is that you can actually feed back as well from the equator back to the machine. So if there is a part that it looks like it's not meeting the tolerances,
I found out
you can send that back into the machine, and then it will change the offsets.
So the equator can talk to the machine directly. I don't have, as a programmer, I don't have to do anything. So if your temperature's changed within your workshop, or your toolware's starting to go, say you've done 100 parts with an M mill and it's starting to go, the equator will go, oh, well, we can see it's starting to drift out of tolerance, so maybe for the next 15 we'll cut it off by 2 mil, and that it will talk, and it will obviously give you a readout of what the machine's doing, because you might bring it out and think, well, my program's changed, what's going on? The equator feeds to the machine, and having that, if you're running lights out and someone's gone home, fantastic, isn't it? It's just
what
brilliant.
Sort of tolerances will it run to?
See, we don't want to talk about tolerances because customers are all different. I was speaking to Ed, and I asked him a question. I was going to ask him a question about tolerances, and he said it's a really tricky question because everybody's different. The automotive system, the aerospace system is all different, and it all depends on the part. So we'll talk more about that. We can ask Q&As because they're going to do a Q&A. It's all dependent on the part, what you're doing, because obviously different tolerances for different...
When you say Q&A, because I think you're preparing for the webinar that Renishaw
Yes, so they're going to be doing a Q&A. Right. So with the webinar, you can ask questions along the way when we're watching the live event. So
I know not to ask about tolerances then.
Yeah. You can ask about tolerances, and they'll go into more detail of why each customer's different. I just wanted to...
Okay, so that was Renishaw. Now, also coming up in the podcast, we're going to be talking about Massplast mouldings, which where Lindsay was. There was some activity here on Technical Corners that we'll be talking about. R&G Precision. Myself and Lindsay were there yesterday, and we also had a good visit up north to Barnsley to visit Solidcam, and we looked at some of the features on their software, such as iMachining, which we'll be touching on. I like to break things up along the way, and I did ask the guys before we came in here today. I always say, what have you picked up anything interesting this week, Colin? Any good facts?
Not personally, but on the road.
Yeah, I've been trying to pick up some interesting stuff, but she kept saying that. Well, one thing, never argue with an idiot, Paul. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. That wasn't aimed particularly at you, and that was from Mark Twain, did you know? So there you go. That's not aimed at anybody in this room, Paul.
Yeah.
But you said about, was it pogonophobia or pogonophiles?
Pogonophobia.
That's all your beardy things.
Yeah.
Did you might know, but Chloe probably doesn't. I have a twin brother, fact.
Okay.
His name is Arm, my name is Brad. Work it out yourselves there. But obviously I've known him all my...
That's got me really confused.
Armpit, Brad Pitt worked with me.
Funny, yeah.
I've obviously known him all my life, surprisingly. I did not know he had ovophobia, which is a fear of eggs. He cannot go in the kitchen when there's an egg.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why? What happens?
I don't know. I've never been there.
Has he
He
been hit
cracks,
with
yeah.
it?
So anyway, that's my that's one little thing for you for this week.
Chloe, anything that you picked up along your...
What did the car manufacturer Lamborghini make before they made cars?
Motorbikes.
No.
watches?
No, tractors.
Oh, really?
There you go.
Oh, they were flipping fast.
So they've
though.
gone from one extreme...
One extreme to the agricultural to then...
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good fact.
Thank you.
You might win that one.
I've got loads more. I'm
Mine was
ready
a good
today.
fact. How rude.
Okay, now I also want to mention now the top 5 on MTDCNC this week. Another feature that we supply in our week in review, which comes out today. Number 5 this week, we with the most, or not with the most views, and in the top 5 at number 5 we had the Citizen and Miano, a machine that's a game changer, which I'm sure Colin knows a lot about. We also had a video that I did with Steve Brown at number 4, which was at Metal Light, where we were talking about the Quasar being fed by a Euroa system. Number 3 in the league was the video we commissioned at Interco, our proud sponsors of Swarf and Chips. They've got a brand new build in there for basically to be able to accommodate more steel stocks. Number 2 in the charts was RAM Engineering, where we visited Future Design and we talked about their Factory Wiz software that they're using, actually from Factory Wiz. And number 1, our most viewed video on the channel this week was a review I did of the Doosan Lynx at Mills CNC.
Hold on, is it number 1 because you were in it?
Always.
We need a countdown like Top of the Pops, if you remember Top of the Pops.
Yeah, I do back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was number 1. Great video, and all of those videos you can obviously see on the channel, and plus more, because I think we've commissioned 28 videos on the channel this week.
Wow,
so
it's a lot.
It's a lot, but we're busy as always.
Busy.
Right, I want to touch on. I want to move on to Wednesday, Chloe. You can maybe start us with this one. Solidcam. We went up to Solidcam, didn't we, to talk to Gordon there and Elena about what they offer and about the fact that they've just taken delivery of a Star sliding head lathe, which Star have supplied them with.
Yeah, so we were talking about that iMachining, weren't we? And all the benefits that it can give to people. And I didn't know, but they've got an applications engineer there, Ben, and he was one who taught me how to use CAD-CAM as well. It was really nice. About 6 years ago, he taught me. And we were talking to Gordon, weren't we, about how good their software is, how the harder the materials, the more time saving it gets, the tool life that you can be saved on it, and it was just a brilliant bit of kit.
That's the iMachining. The interesting part about this, Colin, I know you've got quite a bit of experience in sliding head turning and sliding head lathes. This is something that, well, basically, I won't call it a collaboration because it's not. Star have put a machine in there, but they want to be able to work with Solidcam in order to provide some companies. It won't be fit for everybody, but with the opportunity to have a good CAD-CAM system. Do you visit many people that have sliding head lathes that talk to you about whether they program offline or online?
I'd say it's a mix, probably 50-50. But the ones I generally see are more the Citizen Syncom sliders, and they've got their Alcart Wizard. I don't know how that compares, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very hard to sliding head technology and sliding head lathes are so quick anyway, and they're so productive. You know, there are, Gordon was saying that it depends on the application, but there are some parts that you can save even more time by using CAD-CAM. But equally, you know, what I would say is that some sliding head lathe programmers are out there are very good, and I do believe that, you know, there will be a lot of instances where the CAD-CAM might not necessarily lend itself, but it does.
It was more the milling side as well, he was saying, isn't it? Because obviously sliding heads, I know a bit about sliding heads, but not as much as I know about milling and turning. And for them to get into that industry as well, not just the Milling and turning is great.
Yeah, the iMachining for milling on harder materials.
Yes.
Let's take sliding head out of the equation. On harder materials can save, and we hear these figures, 90% savings, and you think to yourself,
how does it work?
It's all about the strategy, the tool paths. It's about the amount of tool that's in cut. All of this is the areas.
So
that
I presume you're putting in loads of different parameters, such as what type of specific tool it is,
you're basically looking
everything.
at a part, and if it's a hard exotic material and you're doing a pocket within it, there is the possibility that if you get the strategy right, you can make massive savings using iMachining. Yeah. But we're going to be doing a lot of work with Solidcam in the future. There is an event they are going to be streaming, I think, in June from their facility, where they'll be working with Star, and they'll be hopefully getting the sliding head laid.
But that Solidcam, was that at their sort of headquarters? I thought you were at Oracle Precision now as well.
Well, we did. So
we did two in one day.
Good point to move on to. Oracle Precision. That was a good visit, Chloe. You enjoyed that one, didn't you?
Yeah, quite a lot of fun, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, I've got to give
Sean,
in fact,
Sean is on our bloke.
Sean is on our shout outs today. Sean wanted a shout out, and so did Ryan from Oracle Precision. Also, got to do a shout out to Conrad Nurk. Nice post, by the way, on LinkedIn of his lad at the control on the machine. Did you see that
lovely,
one?
Yeah.
That bloke is prolific in terms not producing babies, as in, although he's due a second one this week actually. So good luck and congratulations to Conrad. But on LinkedIn, the videos he puts, but that picture itself, that's captured. People really engage with it because it's a great picture, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the first time I saw it, I thought to myself, that's a good one.
Don't give too much away. Don't give too much away about what it. So let people have a look and see.
Yeah, have a look on LinkedIn.
Yes,
and
it is
have a look.
really good. So shout out to him. Jamie Duncan from Contract Solutions as well wanted to mention, and I've got to say hello to Nigel from R&G Precision, where we were at yesterday, and we'll talk about that.
How are R&G doing?
Shortly.
Shortly.
We'll come on to that. Oracle Precision, Sean, great guy. Brilliant machine shop, lovely machine shop. They actually had one of the first Matsuura MX-330s.
Didn't he say one of the a high up person from Matsuura actually came? Was it? I can't remember what his. He was Was he the chairman of Matsuura or something like that? Because it was one of the first.
As in from Japan or what?
Yeah, because it was one of the first in the UK, and he said they're looking for another one, aren't they? Don't know when, but they were. And he was very highly commendable about this machine, and you could see how it was working, flat out. And it just, you had all the parts on the floor, and it was just going and going and going.
I'm going to put you on the spot. How many pallets does it have?
I can't remember.
10.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You did that without.
You did 10.
Yeah, it's called an
I can't remember because
an interjection.
Because I've been seeing so many recently. There was one last week that me and Lindsay saw, and that had 30 pallets, 10 pallets, 15 pallets.
I tell you what, that's one of the points actually. There's a few companies that they're all very successful. A few companies that really get loads of mentions all the time, and Matsuura is definitely one of them. I mean, I'll go back to it absolutely, but just going through the notes here for today's podcast, there are just loads of them, aren't there?
Yeah, and but I think it's also important to stress at this point that it is a really good machine, very popular. But I think automation in general, and I know that's probably gets more of a mention all the time. The fact that whether it's Metal Light that we were at a week ago, they've invested in their Quasar machine with the Aroa automation. Whether it's somewhere else, it's got we were talking to the other day that's looking at a DMG Mori with the RPS system. So these are trends that are really happening at the moment.
And I think that's what we'll be hearing more and
more.
Well,
another type of automation.
Sorry, carry on.
Another type of automation, though, which we've just got a video coming out for Microlock, because it's their work holding system. You might not think of it as automation, but they load that big pallet up. It runs overnight, doesn't it?
Yeah, 20 setup, same program. Bish bash bosh.
That's exactly what you said.
And if you have one of those on a trunnion as well, you can get to
or even like a tombstone. If you've got a 5-axis, do it like that.
Or a pyramid.
So Oracle Precision, he also told us a story, which I think this is an interesting one. You've probably heard it or probably seen it over social media about the bounce back loans and how this particular this was on Facebook about a guy that had gone to buy a car from this Porsche garage, and basically he wired the money, but what he'd done is he'd applied for a bounce back loan in that company's name.
Yep.
And then luckily they clocked it because it was from the
asked,
transaction was from BBL. And when they phoned the bank and said, we've got this money into our account. They said, yes, sir, it's your money. He said, no, we've been paid that money, but from BBL for the car. He said, no, it's your money. It's the bounce back loan. And it was for £46,000, which was exactly the same as the value of the car. So this guy was going to come along and drive off in this nice Porsche. And what had happened is the garage had basically got a bounce back loan, which he'd applied for in their name.
All right, so he'd applied for it in the garage's name.
So if Paul was selling it to me, I'd applied for it in Paul's name, gave him the money, but Paul got the bounce back loan, I drove off in the Porsche.
And it was only because it had BBL limited, it said BBL limited, BBL limited, and then when there's bounce back loan.
Can you just tell me what it is, bounce back loan?
Again, from my finance days, I met up with some of the guys who are now all retired because they've got nice big bank pensions, let it go. But they were all saying they've got now people, they're putting up teams for all the fraudulent BBLs that have been applied for. There's loads of them. Paul, we
were talking about that, weren't we?
In fact, I need to collect my car before we get it paid back, babe. But yeah, there's loads and loads.
Sold it.
It's disgraceful, though, to take advantage. Anyway,
moving on. Massplast. Lindsay was at Massplast Mouldings. I'm really looking forward to seeing these videos because I didn't visit this company, but I know that they do injection moulding. I know that they make the tools. So we often go to companies where you'll just have the EDM machine and they'll be supplying their customer with a tool for their injection moulding machine or whatever it might be. But this particular company sees the process right the way through. So
now, can I call myself? I'm going to call myself on that because I'm happy to correct you on your slight error and Geo the other week on this like because I called it. I got the product wrong. So it's Eurospark. It's a Joe Mars EDM. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. Got it right this week.
And one of the focuses that they really picked up on there was the fuzzy logic control. And I know we mentioned this
on your washing machine, isn't it?
Now the fuzzy. Have you seen this fuzzy logic?
No, actually, I'd never heard of it.
It's fascinating to see how easy it is to program a Joe Mars machine. I'm not going to say too much because obviously what people want to do is visit the channel in order to actually see how easy it is. But basically, you pick the size of the electrode, the material, boom, 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 and it will spark the part. So they're videos from Massplast Mouldings to come. I'm going to move on to
EDM. Is it wire? Let me get this right. Wire, sync, or drilling, or all three?
That is spark.
It's spark.
Sync.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And that's not the one you wash your dishes in.
That's a fuzzy logic. No, I do. No.
R&G Precision.
Yes,
I saw
correct.
Joe yesterday. Do you remember Joe?
Joe, is that is he the main man?
Yes.
Yes, he does like a swear word or two, doesn't he?
Yes, he's in his mid-70s now, would you believe?
Again, in my financing days, I went there to try and get his banking. Okay. There you go, and failed.
Did you?
Yes. Yeah. Great guy, great company.
You were coming, that's why.
Yeah. Well.
Wow, brilliant.
They moved to their new factory, and we did two things yesterday. We looked at once again a Matsuura MX-330 machine, which has just been installed. So we took
how many pallets?
That one's got 12.
No,
it's got 10. So we looked at that machine, but we also looked at the ROBODRILLs. And this is the point that I wanted to make on this particular piece, or give the airtime on this particular company, was the ROBODRILLs there were machining a lovely component made of stainless steel. Now, we did a live event at FANUC, which you can still see on our YouTube channel, and in fact, it had about 25,000 watches so far, where we were talking about how capable these BBT30 machines were of machining stainless. And we did it live, and it's really worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Yesterday, when we visited R&G, we were talking to the guys there, and I looked at the ROBODRILL, and I saw this part, and that looks to me like a bit of stainless steel. Are you cutting that on that ROBODRILL? And they're like, yeah. So we talked through how they were machining this part. And again, I don't want to say too much, but one of the things that came out of it was I said to the guy, well, how do you plan and program for what work is going to come onto the ROBODRILLs now? He says, these machines will do anything. These machines will do anything in this factory that a BT40 machine will. So what we don't have to do is pigeonhole these machines into just being for plastics, just being for aluminiums.
To trust
if
that machine,
a steel job comes in and that's got the capacity and it's quicker, we will do it on the ROBODRILL.
But just for people who don't know the ROBODRILL, just to clarify, small footprint, really, I mean, it looks like a small machine, so you're thinking aluminiums, plastics, but like I say, it'll smash anything.
Really unique tool changer as well.
The carousel.
With the carousel, and what it basically does is the tool comes up, it pops out, switches, pops back in, down, saves the tool arm, everything like that.
Maybe watch a video to...
Yeah, but it's not just like this. But FANUC do that so well, and we're using the FANUC control system as well, how it all integrates into one system is fantastic.
Yeah, because you've got FANUC drives, you've got FANUC
Exactly,
control,
and
you've
it's
got FANUC
all-
machine, FANUC motors.
Normally, if you have a CNC machine that runs off FANUC, yeah, it's fantastic coding system, but having them all integrated, you can get not special features, but it's so high quality. It's great.
What you find with these ROBODRILL machines is it was the guy was telling me about it was strategy. Right, it was the strategy of machining that was enabling them. The part that I'm talking about here, they were making on a BT40 machine, and it was taking 45 minutes. By doing it on the ROBODRILL, bearing in mind this is, I think it was 304 stainless. It was. They're doing it in 25. So not only are they using the machine to do the job, they're actually reducing the cycle time by about 15 minutes.
Without giving too much away.
Smaller tool holder, you know.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It's when you've got the BT40 machine that they had, I can identify immediately what some of the problems were. Right, tool changer up. ROBODRILL 1.4 seconds, bang in. Trochoidal milling, which is the strategy that they were using, with the acceleration and the dynamics of the ROBODRILL. That in itself, the cut time. Well, it's just faster.
So I'm assuming
much faster.
Faster spindle speed, I'm assuming.
Faster spindle speed.
You've got less travel
Less
as well.
travel,
So you've got everything compact, which is great, which is obviously like with the tool change, everything rapid movements. It's just.
So it's not. I'm assuming not so much. Not the cuts aren't as big potentially, but it's a lot faster.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
assuming.
Yeah,
But it can still do what a BT40 does, you know.
And it's not these days about. It is about the strategy of machining,
and it's how you use it.
We make things differently now than we did 10 years ago, and that was how the interview ended. It was like, we make things differently now than we did 10 years ago. So that was our visit to R&G Precision.
Okay.
We are going back there, in fact, to see the MX-330 in action. I just want to ask you guys whether you know the answer to this, because while we were there, they talked about their 5S. They're going into this 5S strategy. Do you know what 5S is?
Yeah, like safety and stuff.
Do you know?
Cleaning.
Safety and stuff and things like that. Yeah, I've got absolutely no
I should
idea.
have asked you first.
I
shouldn't
roll.
But the 5S's is sort, set in order, shine, standardise, and sustain.
It's from overseas. It's a Japanese
You got it.
product,
Yeah,
and
so basically,
it's how they keep sustaining their work ethic and everything like that. And once a company brings it in, they'll never get rid of it, because they'll see their process change and their staff change accordingly. Like just housekeeping and general how things need to, like a
So it's a standardised system.
yeah. For many different things.
Yeah. Okay. It basically, I think you are right, Chloe. I did have the notes on it, but it's a Japanese. It was either
Toyota.
Toyota, and it just makes everything
so
much leaner through the factory. And what they also spoke about, and I don't think companies do this enough, is making sure that all of their guys could do everybody else's job. So no one's a specialist.
Yeah,
so no one's a specialist. The days of the specialist is gone. So what they do is they have all the millers that are working the milling machines and all the turners doing the turning, and they swap. They go, next week you're going to be running the lathes and you're going to be running the milling machines.
You can imagine 20 years ago, people are like,
but they have to go and do it. And okay, there's some issues along the way, but what happens is eventually, when Dave leaves or Dave's off sick, so Roger can come.
Place doesn't grind to a halt.
Exactly.
And that's the best way to keep an engineering company.
Can I have a little segue on Japanese then? Because I've got some interesting facts.
Segue?
Yeah,
far away.
Go different direction.
Before you do that, coming up, we're going to be talking about what we're doing next week, but you far away, Colin.
No, you said Japan, and I've got some interesting facts, or maybe not so interesting facts. Did you know, 1946, this day, Sony Corp was founded. Oh, boring. But those of you who like their moves and things, Godzilla.
Never seen it.
What?
Massive great dinosaur. Anyway, the Japanese director, Honda Ishihiro, he was from Japan, I think, was born on this day in 1911. There you go.
Wow. I've got one.
Sorry to bore you.
Not Japanese, but in 1945, all tanks in the British Army were made with what facility? So what was made inside of them since 1945?
What was made inside of them?
Yeah.
Steering wheel?
Yeah.
No. A tea maker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
What, so you have a cup of tea when
You
you
can
drive
have a cup of tea.
Cup of rosy. I prefer coffee.
Well, they weren't expecting you to be in the British Army, and look where you are now. So.
Well, two from me before we talk about where we're going to be next week. Did you know that 1/3 of the world's population has never made a telephone call?
Oh, Oh my God.
Well, you need to call me on that.
And more, and this applies to you, right, Colin? This applies to
I-
you. The average adult spends more time on the toilet than they do exercising.
Well, no, because
Exercising on
I
the
actually
toilet.
exercise on the toilet.
Swing your legs.
Very, very quickly then, populations you mentioned. I've got this. Did you know population of Russia? Very quickly, go on.
I would say
Very
it
quickly,
would be 192 million.
98 million.
144. America,
260 million.
312.
328. Chloe gets point for that. But China,
1,600 million. 224.
1.4 billion.
Jesus.
Anyway, there you go. Moving on. Sorry.
Unbelievable. Okay, so there are other things we covered this week. There's plenty on the channel from, I mentioned the top 5, but like I said, I think it's 28 releases. A couple of bits on the news. I wanted to mention this one because there was a few things that have cropped up on the MTD website this week. And this is really good news from XYZ. They have sold 106 machines in April.
Wow.
106.
106 machines in April. That's unbelievable.
That's huge.
Wow.
Nigel Atherton is obviously chuffed to bits. He's had a really good year now, and I have to say, 106
Congratulations.
machines.
Why has it been so successful? I mean, good machines, obviously, but
I think everyone has. If you're working on the fiscal year, you'd got to a point where you were just. The lockdown happened from March to March. Call it. The year was almost a write-off, wasn't it? But I think as he's come into the last, it's almost like the last month or so has just turned everyone's year around. So I know ETG, I know Mills CNC have had a really good run. I know Star,
Ward High Tech.
Ward High Tech. Yeah, I mean this is commonplace across industry.
I think
so
it's probably. I know one good reason why they've all been so successful. Using MTD, obviously.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow,
Boom.
yes.
There you
How's
go.
that? Can I just say, stuff we've done this week as well.
Please do.
JKN Oil Tools, who are actually on network, they posted a nice little video about the taster, the measuring this machine. It's a great little video. So have a
What
look
do you mean
at that.
taster measuring?
Sorry, it's just checking the
Probing.
tolerances. Probing it. It's just checking the tolerances on this component. It's just a nice little video. We've been preparing hard and fast for the MSC because MSC industry suppliers, because they've got a new product coming out. We're doing a podcast very soon, which I'm getting you involved in as well, Paul. But we can't say what it is, but game changer. Can I say the phrase game changer?
Yeah, you mentioned it last week.
I did, that's right.
So
yeah.
and you still won't tell us what it is.
Cross
No,
that
it's
off
top
now,
top
look.
secret
Are
because
you
I
going to tell us the same
No,
again next week?
I don't know what it is. No, I do know what it is. It is absolutely brilliant. It really is. Also, one very big point this week: Gio had to go to parents' evening.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was the outcome of that?
They said, "Are you really the dad?"
Oh.
They said both kids are doing really, really well. So Gio, big shout out to Gio and the kids. Well done.
Yeah, that's really good
You
news.
didn't tell us who was the German machine tool.
Trump.
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 Oh, was it?
Trump. It's not that sort of.
Who? He's
was
moved
Trump.
over there. Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was Trump. Yeah,
Biggest
Wow.
in the world.
Yes.
Wow. Actually,
Yep.
just going back, say about successful machine tool companies already releasing them well. Mark and Gio went to do a DMG Mori podcast this week, and they were saying, let me get this right, they were talking about application services, and they recommend the best machine for the components they're manufacturing. But great, sales are absolutely fantastic.
So
as well.
nice to
Yeah.
hear, isn't it?
It's another company that's doing exceptionally well. I mean, application support is something that you were very heavily involved in, Chloe, but I've seen over the years that companies have maybe got rid of production. I don't want to say that's the wrong way to say it, but maybe they don't have production managers anymore.
Yep.
They don't have the programmers.
Yeah.
They don't have
They
that
just have
infrastructure.
button pushers.
Yeah, so what they do is they rely on the machine tool manufacturer to provide them with that
You
application
need
support.
someone with that knowledge to just, even if they run the shop floor, to have someone. Even if I used to just have a little question, I'll go to a bloke called Andy Boucher, and he'd know, or a G code off the top of his head, an M code off the top of his head. Thanks, mate, that's all I needed on the phone. And you need someone like that. And obviously that is built up over years and years and years of knowledge. And to have someone like that in your industry is just, you need
Well,
someone.
that's what they're providing.
Yeah, so we have that podcast was shot or filmed or not filmed, in fact recorded. Is the
Oh,
right
there you
word to
go.
say.
Yeah.
That will be coming onto our channel soon.
Yep.
We have to obviously mention our man over in the States. I've got to say I've been following him on social media this week. He's been up to some stuff. I actually saw him this morning sitting in a chair with his top off. Did anybody see
I
that?
saw that. I was
No,
just having my
Dada
breakfast.
didn't, yeah.
I couldn't finish it. It was really Oh, no.
Visit MTDCNC Global as it stands at the moment. You'll be able to follow the links through to Tony's stuff. He is really
He's everywhere.
making massive inroads in the
Absolutely
States.
brilliant.
So the expansion of MTDCNC continues. Next week. Now, I know we start next week, and we're going to be quick on this one because time is against us. We're at Rimstock on Monday, which is a manufacturer of high-quality, lightweight and optimised cast alloy wheels. I'm looking forward to that one. It's a... they've got a Matsuura machine in there as well, which we're going to talk to them about. But I'm interested in general about that company because it is one of the world's leading suppliers of wheels. We're also at Abbey Tool and Gauge on Tuesday. Now, I've known that company's up in Scotland.
God, they've got poor old Joe's tucked up in to do the driving. It's about 8 hours, I think, all out there. But it's for Rocol. Now, I don't know what specific product, but I did see that Rocol do the Ultra Cut 370 EP. Now, that is cutting and grinding. I'm having to read this because I don't know the product specific. Cutting and grinding, but they claim it's the highest diluting metal working fluid ever.
Wow.
Do you know much about working fluids, metal cutting fluids?
I know. I could yes.
It's a big industry, isn't it? And
it's a huge industry,
don't pay
and
enough attention to it.
And people don't clean their coolant. The thing, clean your coolant, please.
Please, just clean it.
Because the advantages of having great coolant is it can change your work and your work ethic by 50%.
Tool life.
Tool life, it can, if you have the wrong coolant, it can start corroding your table, it can start corroding your work card, and it can start corroding the inside of your spindle if you have through spindle coolant. And if you don't clean your coolant out, you're the one to blame. You know?
Right. Tramp oil. Now that's not you with a bucket of oil, have you? Tramp oil.
Nah.
Don't look at me. I don't know.
You must have heard of tramp oil.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
So all of that's you.
Sorry.
With a bucket of oil over your top. But you are right. I think people really need to.
They underestimate
focus
it so much.
on it. You go into machine shops and you look at their coolant and you just
do
think,
your research.
Oh, some of them.
Yeah.
Do your research. And the fact that we're doing that, great, because the video will be great.
Yes. Next week as well, we have got, ready for this, Starag Live. That is going around, pretty much around the world. So there's a number of different sessions. Mark is doing that with the guys.
Yes.
So that's next week. We've got...
I'm really looking forward to that one. That's on Tuesday. I'm actually going to be here while that is
because it's a new machine. Is that the Heckert?
Yes, and it will be on LinkedIn, and it will be on across our
LinkedIn,
social
YouTube,
channels.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to dial in and watch that. It's something a little bit different for Starag, and I think that's going to be the exciting thing because often people look at Starag and they think of, and they're right to, these high performance, high speed, dynamic 5-axis machines with phenomenal jerk rates. But this machine they are, like some others, starting to enter into markets now where you wouldn't necessarily think that they would be. So it's going to be...
Because I'm thinking Starag, big components, aerospace as an example. So that is not specific.
They cover, they're much broader now.
Right,
they're much broader. And that's what you'll identify.
Because this is a
with on
4-axis horizontal.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
lovely. Right, other ones as well, just so you are aware, are... did you mention MJ Precision?
We are MJ Precision, but I also want to say we're also going up north on Wednesday as well. We have another company that we're going to visit, which have just bought a Herco lathe. Which you see a lot of Herco machines around. Very easy to, and mainly it's normally milling machines and machining centres. But this time it's the turning centre, and we're going to be able to see the touchscreen control in action and the reasons why this company.
They love that touchscreen, don't
the
they?
Hercos.
Absolutely love
Conscious
it.
we are running out of time.
Can I very quickly then? Geo is doing some technical corners, SNW. Now, they're known for sort of specialised fixtures, steady rests and chucks, but they do also have a portfolio of standard work holding solutions. So Geo's going to be doing that. Yep. There's a minor downside as well. Great to have Bison in to do some technical corners. Mike Harris is coming in.
No, is he?
Yeah,
he
is.
He does.
Because
we'll have some jokes next week.
He does the work.
You're going to replace me then?
Please, Mike, if you're listening, don't do any of your impressions. They're dreadful.
Please.
Please. Yeah.
I'm looking
Good
forward
stuff.
to that one.
Right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And
No
I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. To those listening, don't forget to comment, send us a message if you want a shout out as well, because this will be on YouTube. It will be filmed too. Join us same time next week. There is a chance that very soon we're going to start broadcasting this live. So,
I'm sorry.
Something to something to look
I have
forward
to brush
to.
my hair then. Oh no!
Yeah, something to look forward
Magazine's out next week.
And the magazine's out next week as well, the
yes.
May edition. So, and it's good that the market's doing extremely well. We're extremely busy. I hope you are listening. You are busy too. Guys, thanks for joining us. And
Cheers.
we'll do this again, same time next week.